of the sides of a triangle are three consecutive even integers. If the perimeter of a triangle is 36 centimeters, what is the length in centimeters of the shortest side? Okay, we're looking at a triangle, so I'm going to make the shape of a triangle. Now this triangle is not going to be drawn to scale. I'm just going to make a triangle with three different lengths. And the sides are consecutive even integers. So an example, not the answer, would be something like 2, 4, 6, or 10, 12, 14. So if I let x represent the smallest of the three sides, x equals the shortest length of the three sides. So if this is x, then I can say this is the next length. So it's not just x plus 1, it's x plus 2 to get to the next even number. By adding 2, I continuously get to the next one. So like if this was 4, 4 plus 2 is 6. So we'd want 4, 6, and then 8. I'm at an additional 2. So I could choose any even number, even like 100. There's 100, 102, 104, just as an example. Okay, so I set this up, and it says they're consecutive even integers, which I've represented, and the perimeter adding along the outsides is equivalent to 36 centimeters. So if I add all the way around, x plus 2 plus, now I'm going to combine like terms and say this is x plus 4. That's going to be equal to 36 centimeters. Okay, let's solve for x. 1, 2, 3. 3x plus 6, combining like terms. I'm going to isolate the x by first doing the additive inverse, canceling out the 6's, bringing down the 3x, subtracting to get 30. The opposite of multiplying is dividing, and x equals 10. So x is 10, that means this length is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12, and 10 plus 4 is 14. Let's go back to the question. The question says, what is the length of the shortest side? The shortest side would be 10 centimeters. Correct answer is C. All right, when I say go, you're going to flip to the back side of this. You have 5 questions and exactly 5 minutes. I'm going to give you a warning every minute. And make sure that if you have to, you take a guess. Leave none of the problems blank. Do the best you can. Ready? Get set. Begin. minutes gone by. Three minutes done, 2 minutes remaining. Four minutes completed, 1 minute remaining. Ten seconds left. And pencils down. Okay, as we go through these 5 problems, know that sometimes there's more than one way to think about answering these. So I'm going to answer these or go through them how I understand them and how to do this as quick as possible. So I'm not always going to do all the algebra if there's a quicker way to do it. So for instance, when you look at number 1, if you were confused how to do this problem, one way to solve it would be to take the choices -2, -1, 0, 2, and 5, and substitute each one of these in for x. When you take 3 times that number and then subtract 10, you want to get an answer of -10. Only one of these will work. Another way, since most of us have pretty good algebra skills at this point, is to actually just do the math. So 3x minus 4 equals -10. I'm going to add 4 to the opposite side. Divide by 3. Notice because they do have different signs, your final answer is negative. Correct answer is A. If you had time, you could plug it back in to make sure it works. All right, number 2. Now, number 2, we want to again solve this as quick as possible. So one way that I would suggest is, and you could simplify these, that would work as well. You could simplify this, and try combining. That's one way to work. Another way is let's figure out what is the square root. Bring this down so you can see this. What is the square root of 40 plus the square root of 160? We get a decimal of 18.97. I know that only one of these answers gives me a final answer of approximately 18.97. So let's try. I'm just going to go one by one. 6 times the square root of 10. 18.97, problem done. If n subtract 2/3 is equal to this, what is n? Again, we're going to use the calculator to make our life a little bit easier. You want to isolate the variable. So to get rid of a negative 2/3, I'm going to add it to the opposite side. Now, I don't want you to have to spend time figuring out how to get a common denominator, so we're going to plug this into the calculator. 11 over 27 plus 2/3. In parentheses, 11 over 27 plus 2/3. And I'm going to hit math, fraction, enter, enter. By doing so, it gives me a reduced fraction of 29 over 27. 29 over 27 is choice D. Up to number 4. What is the largest integer of P that satisfies this inequality? So I have a fraction and it says this amount must be greater than or equal to this. Well, let's figure out what is that equivalent to. So 15 divided by 18 is approximately 0.83 repeating. So this is approximately 0.83 repeating. And I know whatever number over 12, this amount can be equal to it or it has to be less than. Remember that this little pointer is going to point towards the smaller of the two numbers. So I'm simply going to do chug and plug. I'm going to take and put an 8 in, and I'm going to see what is this value. This value, when I plug in an 8 and I divide, the decimal I get must again be less than or equal to this amount. Let's start with 8. 8 divided by the 12, 0.66. Is that less than this number? It sure is. Let's check 9 just to see. So if I did 9 divided by 12, we can see that is also less than. What is the largest one? So this is approximately 0.75. It works. This is approximately 0.6 repeating. It works. Let's try 10. 10 divided by 12 is 0.83 repeating. Hey, that's equal to it. 11 divided by 12, you're going to see is actually greater than it. So this does not even satisfy what this question is asking us because it's actually greater. So that can't even be an option. And lastly, if you plug in 12, 12 divided by 12 is 1. And 1 is greater than this. It doesn't even satisfy what this question is asking. So of the 3 of the 5 choices that work, which one of these is the greatest? H. Going on to number 5. So we're talking about a 50-point spelling contest. And the scores work this way. You get 4 points for a correct answer, -1 for incorrect, and 0 for unanswered. And it says a particular student answers every question. So I don't need to worry about the unanswered because it already tells me she answers every question. What is the maximum number of correct answers she could have if she, what is the maximum number of what is the maximum number of questions that this student could have answered correctly? Okay, there's a couple ways to do this. You could do guess and check until you get to the answer, or we could think of it like this. There's two type of responses she's going to get. She's either going to get a right answer or she's going to get a wrong answer. We know that, okay? So I'm going to say that R stands for right and W stands for wrong. And I know that together there's 50 because she's answered all 50 questions. It also tells me that a right answer gets scored as a +4 and a wrong answer gets scored as a -1. And together her total score is 160. So now I could do a system of equations. Sure, you could do elimination substitution, or if you've been in my class, we also use the row reduction echelon form. So I'm going to do second plus 7, 1, 2. I'm going to do second matrix, going over to edit. Notice there are 2 rows and 3 columns, so the dimensions are 2 by 3, plugging in the numbers in front of the variable. So I have 1, 1, an answer of 50, 4, -1, and 160. Now I'm going to do a second quit, go back to second matrix, math, and find RREF. We're going to go back and pick the matrix where we substitute in these numbers and hit enter. Now, how do I know which one represents right and which one represents wrong? Well, in the problem, the first variable represents the first answer. We have 42 correct answers or right answers and 8 wrong answers. So what is the maximum number of choices she could have got correct? 42.